Alright, right. Hello, good morning and good evening, every one of you out there. So in this video, I am so happy because the thing that I am experimenting since the other day is already working. So the thing that I've been working on is create an Azure pipeline, install a SQL Server Express on that pipeline using the virtual machine image Windows latest, and then install SQL Server Express using Choco and use PowerShell script to connect to that SQL Server Express and then begin your work. Like just from there, start from there. So let me demonstrate. No, not demonstrate. I'll just code here the thing that if you ran into this issue, but this is my personal laptop. So this is my personal laptop, so I won't run this in my personal DevOps account because it will run a it will like install the SQL Server, and I might incur a substantial amount of cost with processing the compute. Yeah, so maybe that's the right form for that. Just um, Azure DevOps might bill me with compute that I am doing in their servers, like installing and like um, yeah, downloading and installing the SQL Server Express and my accounts. So I'll just give you the code here. So the code here is first, yeah, I think everyone knows about this, but if you're a noob, yeah, this one here is a trigger. That means every time I push a code in master, the pipeline build will trigger. And this is the pool where I specify the Vim image that I'm gonna use. So the Vim image that we're using is Windows latest. And then the password, we don't need a password variable. We just need the steps. So the steps is we just need to use the PowerShell script. So let's use first the PowerShell. All right, so that means PowerShell core, and that means you can do multi-line, and then you say Choco. This is for installing Choco install SQL Server Express, and that will install your SQL Server. And then the next step is define a PowerShell step, and then yeah, this is optional. I'll put a display name. You'll put here um, try to connect to SQL Server Express, bro, like that. And then the inputs are you're gonna specify the target type. The target type for this task is a file path because I don't want to write scripts with inline in the YAML file. And then you're gonna specify the file path. So relative to this YAML file, you can find the process. Oh no, connect connect script. So something like that, and then PS1 for the PowerShell, and then say um, um, how do you say that? Enable or no? Tell the Azure pipeline to use the PowerShell core instead of the old school PowerShell. So this means this one here is a PowerShell core. So that's it, and then in your here in your, let's close this, let's close that. So in your um, create a file relative to your Azure pipeline that YAML connect script that ps1. So this is the one that you specify here, file path, and then this is where you're going to connect to your SQL Server SQL Express instance. So you can say SQL command here, yeah, uh, assign a variable. It's going to be a new object system dot data dot SQL client dot SQL connection. So that is also the reason why I put this on a separate file, so that I'll have IntelliSense while typing it in Visual Studio Code. And let me fix my keyboard here because it's dancing. Okay, so next is you're gonna SQL connect. No, that's not a command, that should be a connection. So SQL connection, that connection string is equals to, this is where you define the connection string. So you're gonna say the server, so localhost, then the default SQL Server instance name is SQL Express, and then set the integrated security. What the hell with my mouse? Security is equals to true, and then initial catalog is equals to master. So if you don't have um, a database yet, so you'll specify that the initial catalog will be the master, and then your SQL connection, you open the SQL connection, and then next is you're gonna uh, create a sample command, SQL connection that create command, oops, and then create a query, assign a query string. So select name and database ID from sys.databases. So this query will select all the available databases in your instance. So, and then your SQL command, assign the command text, the query to the command text, and then set an adapter variable, a new object system dot data dot SQL client dot SQL adapter, and then SQL command here. So I'm not sure what that means, but I just copy that from the internet. So here the data is system dot data dot dataset, and then your adapter will fill the data, this data here, then out null, I'm not sure what that means, and then here we'll display the tables, right? So if you push this, boom, I will not push this. I will replace this with a separate different trigger so that it will not run. But yeah, that's it. This is to install the SQL Server and then define the PowerShell path, execute that, and this is your PowerShell path to connect to that database, and then start from here. From here, you can read the SQL files from the files that are also relative to these files here in your repo, and then process those files. So, and then process those files against the SQL Server database or SQL Server instance that you've just installed. All right, that's it. Thanks. Bye.